I shred allegiance to the medal of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under blast beats, indivisible, with liberty and solos for all. Welcome back to Death Metal Pug. I'm George Washington. I want to be a rock star when I grow up. The purpose of this is to have fun and talk about America's Semiquincentennial birthday. If for some reason we can help out your band, project, or business, please reach out to us at deathmetalpug@gmail.com. I'd like to thank Steven Tyler for being on last week's episode. No, get some more beer. We're going to be here a long time tonight. 2018, I believe that says 30th anniversary. I cannot wait to show you all of the stupid stuff we have in store, man. Ooh. Didn't have any head. Happy birthday, America. Today we're going to celebrate famous American rock and metal acts such as AC/DC.
No.
Such as the Rolling Stones.
No.
American rock and metal acts such as Iron Maiden.
Nope.
Like Carcass. Such as the Scorpions.
Nada.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Famous American rock and metal acts such as Baby Metal. Such as Ghost.
No.
Fuck, who's left? Nothing says freedom like bald eagles, burnt burgers, and blast beats. Uncle Sam wants you to tune lower. Metal Patriots, I present to you the biggest selling American metal bands ever, as far as we could determine through like hasty Googling. Approximate commercial tier list. Number 10, Tool. Number 9, Megadeth. Number 8, Slayer. Number 7, Avenged Sevenfold. Number 6, Disturbed. Oh. Number 5, Pantera. Number 4, System of a Down. Number 3, Slipknot. Second, Korn. And of course, the number 1 selling American metal band is Metallica. I actually like 9 of those 10 bands. Can you guess which one I never really got into? And fun fact, I've also seen 9 of those 10 bands live. Can you guess which one I've never seen live? It's actually a different band than from the one that I don't care for. To celebrate America's 250th birthday, I plan to get my weight to 250.
Well, you're only 4 pounds away. So.
You're thick. The Boston Tea Party was really just the first recorded hardcore stage dive. 1776, Independence Day. 2026, Independence Slay. George Washington crossed the Delaware just to start the first American mosh pit. Can we get serious for a second? Death Metal Pug is not political. Death Metal Pug is patriotic. And there's a difference. Death Metal Pug supports its country. I'm not going to pour out subjective marketing terms like America is the best, but I will tell you it's better than most. And because we're in it, and because we're all on the same team, we all need to work together to make the best possible country we can. If you're angry, seek out different kinds of people in the world. This is why things such as military service, going to college, and especially if it's out of your area, can be hugely beneficial to your perspective of the country and world. To celebrate America's 250th birthday, Archspire created a new song at 1776 beats per minute. The Liberty Bell cracked after hearing the snare tone on a Sanglasusa demo. The United States National Park System is historically significant because it pioneered the idea that a nation should preserve its most extraordinary natural and cultural resources for the public good. Its origins can be traced back to the creation of Yellowstone in 1872, the world's first national park established as a public park or pleasure ground for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. This act sparked a global movement, inspiring more than 100 countries to create their own protected areas. Over the following decades, additional parks and monuments were designated, reflecting both a desire to conserve landscapes and a growing interest in protecting archaeological and historical sites. By the early 20th century, however, these areas were managed inconsistently across multiple federal agencies. This changed in 1916 when President Woodrow Wilson signed the Organic Act, creating the National Park Service to unify management and ensure the parks would be conserved unimpaired for the enjoyment of future generations. Today, the system encompasses more than 400 sites and over 84 million acres, representing a national commitment to environment and stewardship, historical preservation, and public access, an endearing legacy studied worldwide. Let's pretend for a second you're not a crazy person who sees a lot of videos, so we want to go over what we think are the best death metal releases year to date 2026. One album we haven't talked about is the Pharmacist album Vertebrae After Vertebrae, released May 30th, 2026. There are a lot of old school Carcass clones out there nowadays, and a lot of the groups will mostly hit like the gross parts of songs or of the Carcass kind of lore, but not the sense of melodic structure. Pharmacist gets closer on this. When you press play on this Pharmacist album, you'll first brush it off as like something you think you've heard before, but I want to be clear here that you're wrong. There's a lot more to this, and it's not as boring as its first impression may appear. Slimy, grimy, but I'd say not too muddy. I'd still almost clean up the guitars a little bit on this album because I think the riffs are like super fun, but they bleed together a little bit in certain circumstances. For example, the cool guitar work on Indogencia, like lower fretwork, note, kind of palm muted with tons of melody, kind of like a Captive Bolt Pistol. That section where it's has that kind of like riffy part but slowed down a bit on it. That riff and bubonic bloom, I should say, is so much fun. Simple, like chugga 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 bend repeat kind of riffs and stuff. Effective and gets you grooving. Title track is the title track for a good reason. It's a good song. Is there more than one vocalist? I'm not sure, but the vocals do vary a bit on the album. Vocals are mushed up on the tracks, and it really works. Almost gives you the impression you can understand what they're saying, but if you listen really closely, you cannot understand what they're saying. It's got those like Carcass, like the Carcass used to do like gross gag kind of vocal moments in a song or two as well. It's much more detailed than the grimy kind of nature of it leads you to believe at first. There's a high floor on this album. I would say there's no clunkers on this thing, but also nothing really stands out, like a song stands out, like Head and Shoulders over another track or anything like that. I was gonna list my favorites from the album, but it ended up just being like half of the songs anyway. Vertebrae, Organics, I mentioned Bubonic Bloom, and the first part of the Zenith song is awesome as well. The opening song is not bad, but it might actually be the worst one on the album. Sometimes I think they do like little necroticism nods, where they add like a whole nother part to the song or like a whole nother section, but sometimes it doesn't blend as well together, the two parts of the song. I'd say the opening song and closing song in the album, this is, you know, it applies in this situation as well. They're good songs, but they could have parts on them that you could basically do without and still like kind of make it work really well. Minor criticism, as this is still like one of the best death metal songs to date in 2026. After this thing clicked for me, I could not stop listening to it. Check out Pharmacist, Vertebrae after Vertebrae. Man, what else do we like in 2026? I will tell you, the Reeking Aurora on the Promise of the Moon album. When we looked at that, we tossed around the term melodic, brutal death metal. Will from Afterbirth and Artificial Brain on vocals. Cool riffs on this thing. The back half of the album is even better than the front half, I would say. Love the songs. What Only Worms Witness, the Acrid Mulch song, and the title track. I still jam this thing pretty periodically, even though it came out back in April. Archspire released Too Fast to Die, and I think we've probably covered that enough on past videos. If you just check back a little bit, you'll see how much we like that thing, of course. Exhumed released Fast Enough to Die. No, I'm just kidding. Exhumed's car crash themed album Red Asphalt caught us off guard just in like how much better it was than we expected, actually. Great songs, have a great flow to the album, groovy, riffy. Something about the timing of that thing just clicked for me. Well executed, obviously carcassy album that will allow this touring band to just continue its path of constantly touring, you know, again for another 10 years maybe. Through February through April, just had a ton of albums released. If you missed that Memorial Gore album, go back if you skipped that and check out their Hungover Flames EP. Such a great guitar tone on this like 10-minute EP, guaranteed repeated listens on that thing. Melting Rot released its fast, grimy, grindy album Infatuation with Premeditation. It's a joy to chew through this album faster than a raccoon chewing through a gas station dumpster rotisserie chicken. Faster than a pug inhaling a dropped mozzarella stick. Faster than a possum devouring an unlocked pantry full of expired Lunchables. Faster than a Cubs fan abandons all hope in June. Faster than a Chicago rat dragging an entire Italian beef down an alley. In the heart of winter, we talked about the band Mole and Stabbing, and others, but also this band Ex Imperatus. Cool collection of unique songs here. Tracks 4 through 6 are where the album really takes off for me, so hang with that thing. It's done in a very interesting way. Death metal, maybe comparable to like Nile, but not so Egyptian themed, if you will. Since the start of the year, I've played this album periodically. This is one that I go back to and pick up from time to time. There's a familiarity to the sound, but it's also like got enough variety to make you want to jam this from time to time. We done? It's like really hot, dude. Those are Death Metal Pug's best 2026 death metal year-to-date releases.
The Revolutionary War Trooper. You take my land, but I'll take yours too. You fire musket, but we'll charge right through. So when you're waiting for the red coat line, you better stand now, the colonies rise. The fife drum sounds, the charge begins. But on this battlefield, no one wins. The smell of black powder breath as we march on towards rebel death. Whoa!
I'm Ben Franklin. I gotta power my American Revolution band with my kite and my key on it. Make like some lightning or something. I don't know, dude. Where did we even get an American Eagle kite?
The Founding Fathers formed the first thrash band. It was Washington on vocals, Franklin on electricity, and Jefferson on writing lyrics about overthrowing governments. The horses shake as the cannons roar. King George's troops advance once more. We race towards the bayonet's wall. The cries of pain as my brothers fall. We hurl bodies that lay on the ground. We hurl British fire another round. We get so near yet so far away. Someone live to fight another day.
What's more American than death metal, getting tinnitus from it, and refusing to see a doctor because healthcare costs too much? I want to give props to this band or man behind the 666 Strings of Freedom project. This album, Liberty Enlightening the World, is a collection of 2 prior tapes that featured massive, blackened, patriotic bangers, awesome vocals in parts on this album, instrumental, patriotic, melodic, black metal. 666 Strings of Freedom. Check them out. You know Behemoth's chant for Stygian, like, fly high my black eagle. Did you know that eagles start their life with uniformly dark feathers on their head, and then like that like famous like white head only appears like several years after like molting and maturation and whatnot? I equate this to people who like listen to Falling in Reverse or Five Finger Death Punch. They just need some more like molting to unlock deicide, I think.
We get so close now to fight. And when a redcoat takes me in his sights, he pulls the trigger and I feel the blow. My blood runs fast in the winter snow. As I lie there gazing at the sky, my body's numb and my throat is dry. As I lay, forgotten and alone, for liberty I breathe my final groan. Oh!
We've been busy. We've got a back catalog of stuff that's come out. Fires in the Distance release, Circadian Promise, June 12th, 2026. Fires in the Distance is a melodic, melancholic death metal band from Connecticut. Circadian Promise, literal meaning is like sleep cycles or sunrises or sunsets or the promise of those things. A commitment to like natural rhythms is how I would say it. Kind of like how you're supposed to stare into the sunlight when you wake up. Not stare in the sun, but like when you see the sun, like when you wake up. It's supposed to be like one of the most impactful ways that your day can be better. Sleep cycles aside, the title is probably trying to be a concise, poetic album title, giving meaning to phrases like the sun returns as promise, but so does the suffering, or like the promise that no matter how dark the current moment is, another day will come. This kind of phrasing plays into its music in a beautifully sad sort of way, Fires in the Distance has a new vocalist for Circadian Promise. The band's new singer is Brennan Hayter, who also plays guitar and is known for his work with Obsidian Tongue and Thraw Son Blatt. He replaced former vocalist and guitarist Christian Grimaldi, somewhere between like the touring of the last album, Air Not Meant For Us, and the recording of Circadian Promise. The band has publicly introduced Hayter, but has not provided a detailed explanation for Grimaldi's departure. This Connecticut band, for which it stands, released an awesome album in 2023 titled Air Not Meant For Us. Air Not Meant For Us was one of the best albums from 2023. If you've not heard that album, after watching this video twice, go listen to that album. It's incredible. So I had a lot of expectations for this one. There had to be some drop off, right? Yes? No? They still maintain those guitar tones and chords. They still have that unmistakable, dreamy, melancholic atmosphere, but always know when a riff or song must carry the water. They do on this album what they did on the last. A sprinkle of clean vocals, though, is kind of a different thing. The new guy has like a gruffer voice, as where the last vocalist had more of like deeper, consistent death growls. In headphones, I didn't notice the deepness drop off, but in the speakers, I hear it a little more. I didn't want the cleans, but I might like his cleans maybe more than his growls. He uses them the right way, which is sparingly. They still remember to let the songs breathe, let the guitars play out, take pauses, let the chugs sprinkled with sad synth twinkles hang, and keep the feels intact. Remembering the last album's riffs the most, the song By This Time Tomorrow's sad boy riff progression is pure sweetness. This only 5-minute long song has everything I loved from the last album on it. The melancholic like guitar lines over down-tuned minor chord riffing, and those sad like snake crawling around riffs the guitarists build that adds so much emotion to it. 2/3 of the way through the song By This Time Tomorrow, there's a spoken word quote layered over these sad synths as the kick drums build to a ripping climaxing solo that had me like full on sad chub like 10 minutes into it. Also, that build up in the song Lightness Days of Songless Bird is really cool as it moves towards its big epic climax on that song. But I'd say the final 3 tracks on this 6-track 49-minute album are probably the best in listening to it here the first couple of weeks. Right now I'm not certain I like any part more than the high watermarks on the prior album, and that's a great album. The only issue I've had with this album is it came out on like sunny 95-degree Midwest day. Fire's albums should be only released in like the heart of winter or in the fall with like the leaves dropping down. Check out Fires in the Distance, Circadian Promise. Blood Incantation released All Gates Open June 5th, 2026. We're big Blood Incantation fans, so we want to make sure we bring up this band. This is the soundtrack to a documentary about making their 2024 great album, Absolute Elsewhere. Guess that means we're not getting an album anytime soon. I'm nerdy, but not really like listen to soundtracks nerdy. I did give this a listen. It reminds me of music you hear right before like the main video starts in like a museum or planetarium or something. I listened through this whole thing all the way through once, and that'll probably be it. To prove I listened to it, track 2 with about 8 minutes left in the track has a little beat that pops up in it, so I just wanted to like prove I listened to it.
I'm gonna be honest, I find this kind of stuff a little boring. Absolute Elsewhere was awesome, a really neat idea. But let's get back to kicking ass.
Mount Rushmore would be way cooler if it was just the members of Death carved into the mountain. The band Static Dress released Injury Episode May 29, 2026. UK band. Vocalist started out as a photographer, the web told me. Sumerian Records band, actually, and I don't know if that fits the old Sumerian stereotype, to be honest with you. Post-hardcore, I guess. Early 2000s vibes. Emo, post-hardcore, metalcore. As you can tell, they don't stay in like one lane too long or for more than one song. My first listen to the album kind of bugged me, and it took me a few times to like sort out like what band I was trying to recall they sounded like, and then it kind of hit me. I got big Thursday vibes from them. The band Thursday, maybe a bit of like At the Drive-In, Glassjaw. I think it clicks with me in some of that like late 90s, early 2000s stuff I was around for. It's not usually what we discuss here, but my producer sent it to me and was like, what do you think? And I gotta say, I like it. I heard it was once dubbed like artcore. The cover of Injury Episode isn't based on a famous photograph or historical event. Instead, it's part of a larger fictional universe and lore that Static Dress had been building since prior albums. The album artwork depicts the twins surrounded by paparazzi-like figures, with the imagery symbolizing fame, exploitation, and the way people consume artists as products. According to interviews with vocalist Ollie Appleyard, the album's story centers on twin sisters named Sarah and Maeve. They represent an idealized form of celebrity who are pursued, objectified, and ultimately destroyed by obsessive public attention. You know, the quotes I find from the frontman and remaining original member, Ollie Appleyard, are incredible, insightful, and a plus for me. For example, creativity stems from limitations, struggle, and honestly from working class people. I like the more straightforward and more aggressive or guitar-driven poppy songs from tracks 5 through 9. Maybe not enough on the album for me to like return to it very, very often, but I did enjoy it. It's good to kind of like touch things outside of your wheelhouse from time to time. It's good for your brain. Check out Static Dress Injury Episode. I rarely give Jeremy a topic for his shirts, as he's just willing to send them in unknowing of what kind of disaster we're going to create each time. But since we're running the Semiquincentennial Spectacular, I felt I should at least mention what we're doing to him. Jeremy sent me a picture of this Body Void shirt, noting most of the music I listen to is pretty unpatriotic, much like myself. This Body Void shirt is literally the only piece of clothing I own with a flag on it. I looked through the entire collection for anything that would fit the theme, and this was it. I will tell you, Jeremy is a fun, kind, involved with his family. He sticks up for human rights, workers' rights, and supports local music. Respectfully, sir, you are a patriot. Jabba shots! Jabba shots! Jabba shots! Which death metal band frontman would win the Independence Day hot dog eating contest? My money's on Corpse Grinder. I feel like Carl from Nile would get an early lead, but Corpse Grinder would win the war. If I were including dead people, I know Trevor would give it his all, and I can envision Peter Steele there with a sense of irony, ended up eating like 2 hot dogs. There's also a ton of jokes picturing Seth Putnam eating a bunch of wieners. Nothing more American than stuff from China, like pugs. Pugs are American because they breathe like a bald eagle doing freedom screeches. Pugs are American because they are born with an unshakable confidence of a creature who's never read a single book. Pugs are American because they think fireworks were invented specifically to announce their arrival. Pugs are American because their snorts are protected under the First Amendment. Pugs are American because they'll fight anyone for the last hot dog at a barbecue. Pugs are American because their respiratory system sounds like a Harley trying to start in January. Pugs are American because their entire body shape screams, "I was built for comfort, not efficiency." Pugs are American because they think the national bird is actually the rotisserie chicken at Costco.
History! Battle! History!
This is a history of death metal. Death metal emerged in the mid-1980s as one of the most extreme evolutions of heavy metal, pushing speed, aggression, and lyrical darkness beyond what earlier bands had attempted. It grew from the foundations laid by late 70s and early 80s heavy metal, especially the intensity of Black Sabbath, the speed of Motorhead, and the brutality of early thrash groups like Slayer, Crater, and Sepultura. These acts inspired younger musicians to create something even harsher. The genre's earliest recognizable roots can be traced to their mid-1980s work of Possessed from San Francisco. Their 1985 album, Seven Churches, is often cited as one of the first true death metal records. The band's song death metal even helped popularize the name of the genre. Around the same time, Death, led by Chuck Schuldiner in Florida, was developing a similarly savage sound. Death's 1987 debut, Scream Bloody Gore, became a landmark release that helped define the genre's musical vocabulary. Distorted, down-tuned guitars, rapid drumming, growl vocals, and horror-themed lyrics. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, Florida became a major center of death metal. Studios such as Morrisound Recording helped shape and polish the heavy Florida sound. Bands like Obituary, Morbid Angel, Deicide, and Cannibal Corpse became internationally known. Each brought a unique style. Obituary emphasized groove and atmosphere, Morbid Angel's technical complexity and occult themes, Deicide's anti-religious, aggressive music, and Cannibal Corpse shocking gore imagery. At the same time, death metal spread globally. In Sweden, bands such as Entombed, Dismember, and At the Gates created a buzzsaw guitar tone and melodic sensibility that became highly influential. Carcass in the United Kingdom blended gore with technical musicianship and later melodic songwriting. In Brazil, Crisian carried forward a relentless, fast style. During the 1990s, the genre diversified. Technical death metal bands like Suffocation and Cryptopsy increased complexity and precision. Melodic death metal flourished in Gothenburg with In Flames and Dark Tranquility. Brutal death metal, progressive death metal, and death doom also emerged. Though less commercially visible than other metal styles, death metal remained resilient throughout the 2000s and 2010s. New generations embraced both old school revival sounds and modern experimentation. Bands like Blood Incantation and Tomb Mold showed the genre could still evolve. Today, death metal is a global underground institution. Its influence can be heard in metalcore, black metal, grindcore, and progressive metal. What began as a radical underground reaction to musical limits became one of heavy music's most endearing and respected forms. We declared independence from another country because we did not have representation for our taxation. A small portion of rich people said that they were going to tell us what to do, what to pay, and how to be. 250 years later, I can't help but wonder if we're not headed towards a similar structure, but it's incestuous this time. There is a general sense of dissatisfaction out there. The metal music is best suited for this. I don't think people are divided on how they think. I think we're being divided on purpose, and people are becoming wealthy on that. Feel bad about the United States? Help someone. Feel like your neighbor is the enemy? Help someone. Feel like you're a piece of shit? Help someone. Feel like everyone is crazy? help someone. Service, volunteer to others is the answer to being stuck, angry at the world, angry at presidents, angry at teachers, angry at parents. Be a leader. Go volunteer. You'll feel better. The Declaration of Independence was originally rejected because the breakdown section was too long. The real American pastime isn't baseball. It's arguing after 6 beers about whether 7 Churches or Scream Bloody Gore is the first death metal album. Give me liberty or give me double bass pedal. Give me liberty or give me double bass pedal. Give me liberty or give me death. Like the band Death. Get it? Give me liberty or give me Dua Lipa. Give me liberty or give me deathcore. Just kidding, I'll take death. Wouldn't you say nothing's been used more in metal music than like a big bell chiming at the start of a metal song? Ladies and gentlemen, a new form of patriotic metal music. Freedom Core! It's our goddamn blastitutional right to tell you about the singles from our upcoming album, None So Patriotic. Song titles such as Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Blast Beats, Star Stripes, and Human Sacrifice, and of course, the Declaration of Shredipendence. To tell you about the singles from our upcoming album, Like an Ever-Flowing Tax Stream. To tell you about the singles from our upcoming album, Scream Star-Spangled Gore. To tell you about the singles from our upcoming album, Slowly We Vote. The singles from our upcoming album, Effigy of the Forefathers. The singles from our upcoming album, Cause of Freedom. To tell you about the singles from our upcoming album, Altars of Democracy. I don't know, I kind of like the idea of it being written on paper, man. I don't know, wouldn't it kind of like last longer if like we put it on vinyl though? Yeah, but like if we put the Declaration on paper, then everybody's gonna be able to like read it. But if we put it on wax, it could become a collector's item. I mean, we already wrote it. I think it's fine like this. Yeah, but Hancock screwed that thing up by putting his signature all huge on it. I think we should go with the vinyl version of the Declaration. Is this all getting a little too stupid or what? Instead of fireworks this year, my neighbors are celebrating with Cannibal Corpse at full volume and a grill full of suspiciously human-shaped hot dogs. No, I think we should have like a black metal barbecue kind of thing we do. We could like replace the fireworks with like funeral pyres and refer to hot dogs as like charred meat cylinders, and every conversation somehow ends up like about like forests in Norway and stuff. And can envision this like a moment where like a guy is in a water balloon fight, but he's got like the full like battle spikes on his wrists and stuff, and then they're just like exploding when they hit his spikes. Best moment would be like when we have like a guy in corpse paint just take a bite of food and then be like quietly whisper like, the potato salad is eternal. Freezing bomb pop. Fun fact, America declared independence because King George would not allow corpse paint.
I'm a patriot. I love my country.
Paul Revere didn't yell the British are coming. He yelled, open this fucking pit up! This This is Officer Elliot Rustin Peaceness from the Department of Metal Homeland Security. America formed a special American Metal Task Force for the 250th anniversary to police which riffs are too un-American, the acceptable level of denim, and whether battle jackets qualify as tactical equipment. But honestly, most of the time, it's just like old thrash dudes arguing over whether Rain and Blood or Seasons the Abyss is the best Slayer album. On this day in metal, July 4th, here are a few tidbits. Fun fact, Ozzy married Sharon, July 4th, 1982. The Clash made their live debut on July 4th, 1976. Mark Slaughter of the band Slaughter was born July 4th, 1964. That's been your day in metal, July 4th. Days go by, man. I wanted to make sure I talked about seeing Aranzi Pazuzu on May 17th, 2026 at Reggie's. Side note, if you are ever at Reggie's and have the opportunity to check out the buffet, go ahead and do that. I got in on that before the show. It coincided with a Sox versus Cubs game out at whatever they call Comiskey out there nowadays. Jeremy went to this show as well. This isn't like my favorite project, but I do enjoy like the spooky weirdness that was on that last album, that Moon Tanjaba one, or that one that began with M, I guess I'll say. Man, they had like massive pedal boards and like giant keyboard setups, as you might actually expect. Sometimes the band is heavy from lots of guitars, and sometimes they're heavy from like tinkering around with a lot of their like gadgets and noises and stuff. In noticing the Skechers on the vocalist and No Shoes on one of the guitarists there, you know, just always a reminder, there are no riches in this stuff. Support bands responsibly, but like seriously, support bands. The barefoot ballerina, he navigated the stage and the keys and guitars and bandmates and stuff, which ended up being like a crowded stage because 2 guitars, 1 bass player, 3 synth setups, 1 person devoted only to this setup, 1 drummer, so like a whole like 5-piece. Sometimes it's just a wall of noise, synths, bass drops, guitars, 2 guitars, you know, stuff like that. New album stuff right out of the gate at this concert. And then later they returned to the new album. The track that stood out to me was from the new album, track 4. The song I like best that night, it's one that begins with an H. I gotta tell you, that just sounded like so cool live. Busier guitars in the performance than you might think on the album, but I thought that was very cool. But I didn't really expect that. But I haven't really like tried to play their music or anything like that. Vicious vocalist, more so live, I thought. Really just kind of getting into it. Vicious vocals. Every band member looked a little disturbing in like kind of a different way, both in looks and moves, and of course, you know, the sounds they made too. If you don't know Aranzi Pazuzu, they basically sound like a nightmare that comes to life, which is kind of how people describe my first album, but they didn't mean that in a positive way. Just when you think a song is like too weird, they kind of make it work. There were like a few like Sun 000 shirts around, which I didn't really think of, but I guess that makes sense because that band is, you know, kind of a noisy band as well, I suppose. I was glad to see this like foreign eclectic band, and I had a great time with Jeremy. The band Wayfarer opened up, and if you don't know, this is like Old West or cowboy themed black metal, and they committed to the bit. Pearl snap shirts, bolo ties, kind of cowboy hat on them, but definitely they all like rocked flashy cowboy boots. Like I remember on the albums, the transitions between parts oftentimes are just not that smooth to me. Groovy kind of cowboy stuff sometimes though comes through the album and live. I don't kind of get the name of the band. The name kind of sucks. It sounds kind of like a department store that existed in the 80s.
There was a nice guy there in a black braid baseball cap watching the show, which cracks me up that even exists. He said the drummer of Wayfair is in Blood Incantation as well. It's just never really clicked for me. I don't really get who this is for. It's way too heavy to be mainstream, but it is a thing.
Yeehaw! Here are the top 8 cowboy metal band names. Number 8, Cattle Corpse. Number 7, Mayhem at High Noon. Number 6, Stampedecation, crushing New York riffs like 1,000 hooves sliming together. Number 5, Dia Saddle. Number 4, Dark Throne Rider, frostbitten Lone Ranger, wandering cursed canyons. Number 3, Emperor Rodeo, symphonic black metal with orchestral tumbleweeds. Number 2, Immortal Outlaw, blasting through blizzards of undead stallions. And the number 1 cowboy metal band name, Gorger Ranch. Gorger Ranch would also be the name of the world's worst salad dressing. If Undeath played at Mount Vernon, George Washington would rise from the grave just to ask them to play slower. That's been our Semiquincentennial Spectacular. The Little Bull!